Okay, so I guess we can get started for today. And I'll explain what's on Google Classroom after the lesson. So let's see, we're gonna go here. Oh, I have the wrong one up. Let's go to the Spanish 2 one. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna put this on present. All right. It's being very slow. Okay, can everybody see the PowerPoint? We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome back. Welcome back and welcome to everybody who it's your first time here. I hope everyone had a great weekend, and I hope you guys had some fun, got to relax a little bit. And we're gonna do so pretty much just today for the people that haven't been here before. There are all of the PowerPoints that I've done in the past are on Google Classroom. They should be under class materials. We'll go over that at the end of the class. If you need any help or anything with anything that we went over before, I'm going to review some stuff today, but feel free to send me an email. It's completely fine. I'm also a student, so I understand the struggle. And we can meet, we can do extra practice, anything that you guys need to do to better understand what we're doing. I'm willing to do whatever you have to do. So we're going to start out today with a review of our vocabulary words. We're going to review the regular AR verb conjugations, the regular ER and IR verb conjugations. We're gonna do examples of all of these. If you guys would like them, if you need some more practice, anything like that. And we're gonna start using these actual verb conjugations in sentences. So instead of just making the charts and formulating the verbs, we're actually going to put them to use, and I'm going to show you guys how to use them. Oops, I just got another message. One second. All right, so let's do this. So, and I also did get a suggestion from a couple of you guys to kind of go a little bit slower so you can write things down and process things, and that is completely fine with me. So if you need me to ever repeat something or go over something again, or just slow down so you can understand things, just let me know. We're not really on a rush schedule or anything, so whatever you need, just let me know. So the review of last week is our first 10 here, and these are all verbs because that's kind of what we're working on right now. So we're just going to use all of these to do our practice and things like that. So what we learned from last week were the first 10, and just to go over some pronunciation and what they mean, we have hablar, which is to talk, caminar is to walk, comer is to eat, beber to drink, ver to see, dormir to sleep, estudiar to study, leer is to read, cantar is to sing, and ir is to go. So I did have 11 through 20 on the PowerPoint for last week, but we didn't get to it. So we're just going to go through them today. And I think I said this before, but don't be too stressed out or anything if you don't like know all of these by heart right away. We're just going to work with them, and I am going to put a document on Google Classroom with like all of our vocabulary and things like that. That way you guys don't have to look through the PowerPoint to find it. But I think I already put this PowerPoint on Google Classroom, but I'll double check. And so we're going to go through these. And I tried to add as many regular verbs as I can because that's what we're doing right now. A couple of these are irregular, but it's okay because we'll go through those probably on Thursday, or at least start with them. So just to go through these so you guys know how they're pronounced. We have vivir is to live. Quedar is to stay. Tomar is to take. It can also mean to drink. Mirar is to watch. Trabajar is to work. Aprender is to learn. Comprender is to understand. Escribir is to write. Recibir is to receive. And permitir is to allow. So does anyone have any questions or anything on the pronunciations, on the meanings, anything like that? And I'll give you guys a minute or so here to write these down or take notes or whatever you have to do. So everybody's okay with these? Okay. Okay, so I think we went over this last Monday and we also reviewed it on Thursday. But I am going to go over it again because it's very important to remember because you're going to use this throughout your entire Spanish career. So our regular AR verb conjugation, now everybody remembers what a conjugation is, right? Everybody remembers what that is? I'll actually go over it because we do have a couple new people here. Let me just exit out here so I can do an example with these. Oh, maybe. There we go. Okay, so a conjugation, for those of you that weren't here, is basically you change the verb based on the subject or who is like doing the action. We even do it in English, it's just a little bit different in Spanish. So an example of that would be I talk. And you would change that based on who is doing the subject because you say he talks. You add an S to the end. So that's even a conjugation. So, and let me see here. Oh, move this. Oh, hold on one second. All right, there we go. So, oh, I'm just gonna make an example out of this. So let's take a regular AR verb, hablar, which is to talk. Right. So remember what I said last week. We have to separate the stem from the ending. So the ending on this verb would be what? Does anybody remember? Oh wait, I'm in the wrong. Sorry about that. I'm in the wrong PowerPoint here. Not PowerPoint, but okay, better. Sorry if that was a little confusing. I was in the IR instead of the AR. Okay. Does anybody remember how to separate the stem from the ending? So remember.
Say that again.
I'm sorry. So do you I don't think you've been in this class before, have you?
No.
Okay, that's okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate. So this verb, hablar, right here, it means to talk. It's called an infinitive when it has the AR, the ER, or the IR on the ending, right? So we see this, all verbs look like this in their infinitive form. And like I said, email me if you have any problems and we'll go over it. The PowerPoints are on Google Classroom, all that other stuff. So feel free to email me if you have any problems. So before we conjugate this verb, we need to separate the ending from the stem. So the ending of every verb is always the AR, the ER, or the IR that's on the end of the verb. So let's separate it down here. So there you go. So the AR is the ending. The HABL is the stem, and the stem is what we use in conjugation. So if you want to say yo, if you want to say I talk, you would say yo hablo, right? So then we use the exact same stem for each of our subjects. And I know you weren't here before, but yo means I, tú means you. We have él, ella, usted, which is he, she, and you. It's like a formal you. Nosotros is we. Ellos and ustedes is they, and like you guys, like all of you, like you're talking to more than one person. So we're just going to use the stem for each of these. And for like these endings, the O, the AS, the A, the amos, the on, these are the endings that you add to the stem based on who is doing the action. So for yo, for I, you add O. For to, for you add AS. For he, she, or you formal, you add an A to the stem. For nosotros, you add amos to the stem. For we. For ellos and ustedes, they and you guys, you add an to the stem. So, and like I said, the stem is the same for all of them. So, I'm gonna do this. Okay, so you would say yo hablo, which means I talk. Tu hablas means you talk. Él, ella, usted habla. He talks, she talks, you talk. Nosotros hablamos. Ellos, ustedes hablan, which means they, you guys talk. Does that make sense? Everybody's okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And like I said, the PowerPoints are on Google Classroom, and send me an email if you need any help because I'm happy to help you. And then, so we're going to move on here because we did go over this. So we're going to go over the regular ER verb conjugation. So it's almost, it's very similar to the AR. So for yo, you add an O, just like the AR. For to, you add an ES, just the AR verbs is AS. To, for the ER, it's ES. El, ella, usted, you add an E at the end. Nosotros hemos, you add that. Ellos, ustedes, N. Okay, so we'll do an example of that just to refresh everyone. I'm going to do comer, which is to eat. Right? So remember, the first step in conjugation is separating the stem from the ending. Does anyone want to help me out with this one? Does anybody know what the stem and the ending would be for comer? So right here we are. ER is the ending, and COM is the stem. Because remember, the ending is always AR, ER, or IR at the end, right? So the rest of it, the COM is the stem, and the stem is what we use for conjugation. So, like I said, we use the same stem for all of our subjects. Right. And then you pretty much just add, so for this one, it would just be como, comes, come, comemos, and okay. So for yo, it would be yo como, which is I eat. For you, it would be tú comes, which means you eat. Él, ella, usted come. He, she, or you formal eat. Nosotros comemos, we eat. Ellos, ustedes, they or you guys eat, comen. Okay. Does anybody need another example of that or more of an explanation, or are we okay with ER? Everybody's okay. Okay. So next we'll review our IR verb conjugation. And just remember that this one isn't much different from the ER verbs. It is not much different. The only difference is in the nosotros form. So let's go over our endings here. So O is added to the yo form, just like it is in the AR and the ER version. So there's no difference there. To, you add ES, which is the same as the ER verbs. The el, ella, and usted, you add an E, which is the same as the ER verbs. Nosotros is hemos, which that is the only one that's different from the ER verbs. And for ellos and ustedes, you add an en just like you do with the ER verbs. So there's only one difference between IR and ER verbs. So let's do an example here. We'll do escribir, which means to write. Okay. So let's separate our ending from our stem, just like we do with all conjugations. Does anyone remember how to do separate the stem from the ending? So remember, our ending is always the AR, ER, or IR at the end of the word, right? So I'm going to do escribir. Okay. There we go. So the IR is what we take off to do the conjugation, and we use the ESCRIB to, that's the stem, that's what we add to these endings. Does that make sense to everybody? That makes sense. So we're just gonna,
Yeah.
okay, good. Oop. And then let me type this in here. Okay, so we added the same stem to all of them. So how you would say I write is yo escribo. And you write to escribes. And this one is él, ello, usted escribe. He, she, you formal write. And we have, let me see, escribimos, which is we write. And that's the only one different from the ER verbs. Okay, and then they have ellos, ustedes escriben, which means they or you guys write. Okay, does that make sense to everybody, or do you need another example, or is everybody kind of okay with that?
Yeah.
You good?
Mhm.
So I added in some slides here so we can do some conjugation practice. So we're gonna do some examples here. So I did add in the verbs in here. So all you have to do is conjugate them. So does anyone want to give number one a shot? How you would say I walk? Does anybody know? We can start with the subject. So how do you say I?
But I got it. I got it.
You got it?
Can I put it in the chat?
Yeah, you can put it in the chat. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just actually going to put it on the PowerPoint so you guys have it on Google Classroom. But yeah, let me know when you put it in the chat. Oh, here it is. All right, I have the chat up. There you go. Yep, that is correct. Let me. Yep, there you go. Thank you. Good job, guys. So how would you say she writes? Anybody want to give that one a shot?
Usted.
What was that?
Usted.
No, it's not usted because that's you formal.
I got it in chat.
Yep, you're right. Yep. Now remember, ella is the way that we say she, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we add an E because this is an IR verb. We take the IR off, we use the stem, and we add an E to the end for ella. Okay. So let's do he lives. How would we say that?
The chat.
Yep. Él vive. Okay. So again, another IR verb. We have él, which is he. and vivir, and we take the IR off. We use the stem, VIV, and we add the E to the end, right? So how would we say we eat? Anybody want to take a shot at that one?
Check. Nosotros.
Yep.
Nosotros.
Yes, yep. Yep, that is correct. Okay. Now remember, we're using we, which is nosotros. Comer is our verb. ER is our ending, so we take that off. We use the COM, which is our stem, and we add the ER ending to the stem, and that's amos. So it's nosotros comemos. Okay. And how would you say you study? We're actually going to do, let's do informal. Yes. Remember, usted is formal and tu is informal. So we're going to do that. Oops, I don't know why this is not. Won't let me do the accent. Give me 1 second. I gotta close the chat and let's see if it works in. No, it's not. I don't know. Okay. I'll add that in then. So there. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. So here we are. We did. I'm actually gonna put these in red. So oh, that way. Okay. That way you guys will know when you're looking back at the PowerPoint. Would you guys like more examples of that, or is everybody kind of okay with that? Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I have more advanced sentence practice. So I added in the sentence that we're finishing, and I also added in the English translation, so you guys would get like a better understanding of what you're conjugating. So let me do red here. So how would you say I read a book? Yo blank un libro. And you're going to use leer. So how are you going to conjugate leer? It's an ER verb. So what are we going to do? You could send it in the chat. You can send it. You could say it. Doesn't matter to me. So what we're going to do here. Yeah. Yep, you are right when you said that. So let me just explain that to everybody else. Oh, took my color off. Okay, so you're gonna say yo leo un libro, which means, so here we are. This verb is a little bit shorter than the rest, but you're gonna take the ER off because that's our ending, and the LE is our stem. And remember, in the yo form, we add an O to the end. So it's yo leo. Okay. All right. So how would we say we sing a song? Nosotros blank una canción.
Nosotros cantamos una canción.
Yes, yes. There you go. Good job. Okay, so how would we say they are learning Spanish? Ellos blank el español. Anyone want to take a shot at this one? Remember, it's an ER verb, so we have to take the ending off, and we're going to use the stem here. So, whoops, trying to send that in the chat instead of in my PowerPoint app. Does anybody remember the ER ending for
Check.
A?
My fault.
That's okay.
No, I put it in the chat.
Yes, what you said in the chat is actually correct. Let me just write this out so everybody else can see it. You don't really have to worry about it right now, but okay. So what he sent me in the chat is ellos there's my accents. Ellos están aprendiendo. Es- oh, oh, sorry, my computer is like really off today. So he sent me, ellos están aprendiendo español. And this is correct. What he said is correct. You can say ellos aprenden el español, which that is also correct. When you say they are learning Spanish. So this is correct. We didn't learn this kind yet, but that's okay. We'll go over it. So like when you're physically in the act of doing something, you can use the están aprendiendo. That is correct. And yeah, but right now, I was always taught that that you can use the present tense like we are learning right now. I just got your message about the Summit code. Is Summit like a learning platform online? Is that kind of what it is? No,
That's how we get our work done.
Okay. No one ever told me about Summit. I've actually only heard about Summit with you guys. So is that like
Wow.
where they put assignments and things like that?
Yeah.
So no one is I've never heard of Summit. Dr. Dave never told me anything about it. So I've been using Google Classroom. And I know that most people did not join yet. But okay, I did get a couple more people in here. But I actually have a meeting to talk with Dr. Dave a little bit later today. So I will ask him about Summit because I've never used it. I don't know how it works. And I didn't even know that I was supposed to set a Summit up for this class. I've just been using Google Classroom. But I will talk to Dr. Dave about it and see what he says. And I mean, if that's easier for you guys, I will set that up. Because I'm sure I think I talked to somebody else and they told me that they have a summit class for all of their other classes but Spanish. Does that like sound about right? Yeah, so I'm actually okay. So I'm actually gonna, like I said, I'm gonna talk to Dr. Dave about Summit because that seems like what's easiest for you guys. And I'll try and get that set up. Like I said, I've been using Google Classroom because I have never used Summit and I don't know how to use Summit, but that's okay. I'm sure I can figure it out. So, and I know that a couple more people popped in. Is there anybody else who, is not in my Google Classroom? Because if you guys didn't get the link to join it, I'll send it in the class. And that way I'll send it in the chat and that way you guys will have it. I did put something on for those of you that are on. I did put a new assignment up right here for Thursday. I know that if you turn it in late, like that's okay, but I did want to put it up just so you guys have it. I did give everyone their own PDF copy of it. So here is the worksheet. It's real simple, but so I added these are all regular verbs, or they should be. Yes, they are. So these are all regular verbs. So you're just gonna do what we've been doing in class. So and like I said, we did briefly talk about the vosotros form, but we don't really use that here in the United States. So when you're doing this, don't worry about filling out the vosotros form. You don't have to do that. And for number 7, with where it says vosotros, don't worry about that one either because we didn't really learn that. So, and I really don't know that much about vosotros, so we're just not going to use that one. But definitely fill out the yo, the tú, the el, usted, nosotros. If you're having, because this is a PDF, you can open it with Google Docs. if you have a problem with that, you can always just like type it in a Word document, your answers. That's fine. I don't really
So we
care.
got put everything back in English.
What was that? I'm sorry.
We got put everything back in English.
Wait, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Everything I see right now is in Spanish. So we got to put everything back in English.
Yeah, so pretty much what you're gonna do, you're gonna see this and you're gonna just conjugate these verbs. So you're gonna use camino, caminas. You see what I mean? You're gonna conjugate like each of these verbs into like the correct form. You don't have to translate them, just you see what I mean? Like there's a couple verbs here that you guys haven't seen before, but these are all AR verbs and they're all conjugated the same time, the same way. So remember, with yo we add o, to we add as, ello usted we add a, nosotros amos, and ellos and ustedes we add aman. Or we add an an to the end. Does that make sense to everybody? So you're just gonna take the stem of each one of these verbs and you're gonna add the endings. So it's gonna be camino, caminas, camina, caminamos, and caminan. Does that make sense? And then, so that's just kind of like the charts like we have been doing. And with this, I know that the directions are in Spanish. I don't expect you to know what that means. So you're just gonna, I just wanted to go over this before we ran out of time. So it just pretty much says complete the sentences with the present tense of the verbs in parentheses. So you see here, Samantha is our subject, right? So that would be she. So this, you're gonna use this verb, they give you the verbs. You're gonna say ama, because that's she. So we take the AR off, we add the A ending, and it's ama. Samantha ama la música clásica. So you don't really have to know what these sentences say to conjugate them. You just have to know who the subject is. Does that make sense? Does anybody like want to go over this or need more help or anything?
The top joint confusing.
Okay, so let's go over this. So let's see. You know how you see how in my chart, do you see how like I have like it like this?
Right.
They just put it like this. So you see how in the chart that I was using, we do yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, and ellos is ustedes. You see how I do that?
Yeah.
So with this, you're just gonna do it sideways. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, and ellos, ustedes.
All right.
Do you get it? Or do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember, and like I said, if you guys need any help, feel free to send me an email or we can like go through this. And I mean, if you guys want to, we can go over this together next class. Because I think that, so we have yo to Alex, remember, would be he, because it's he or she, could be either one, but they're both conjugated the same way. Nosotros, to, don't worry about vosotros, we're not going to do that. We have ellos, Samuel, y yo, and that, remember, that's we, right? So we like Samuel, y yo. That's two of us, me and him. So one of my Spanish teachers used to use this this old trick. It's like, who is going to the store? Samuel and I, we. Okay, so just like kind of what you would do in English when you say Samuel and I, you would just say we are doing the action, and then usted. So and that's the whole worksheet. So I do have that set as due for Thursday at midnight. But like I said, we're gonna go over that probably next class so you guys understand, what's going on. But I thought that that was kind of a simple worksheet that you guys could work on if you'd like to. It's good practice, and like I said, you are going to use do I have instructions? Yes, I do have instructions on here. So I said that I know the instructions are in Spanish, so don't worry, but all you have to do is put the correct form of the AR verb in the blank, and you can use the PowerPoints because they are on Google Classroom to because they have the conjugation charts on them. And if you need any help with this, feel free to email me. And don't worry about the vosotros form because, like I said, we don't really use that. We did go over it a little bit, but it's not really important. So, unless you're like going to college for Spanish, you don't really need the vosotros form. So don't really worry about that. And so and you guys that are on the Google Classroom, you do have access to the PowerPoints, right? It should be under new material and it should be class PowerPoints. Should have access to that. And like for today, you just click on it and right there's our PowerPoint. So, and like I said, if it would load here, the AR verb conjugations are on here. And if you want, I think should be in here too. I think they're actually on the 3 PowerPoints that I have here. So, yep, right here. So here's, here they are again. They're in like 3 of the PowerPoints. So feel free to use, see, I have the first step to conjugating here, the conjugation charts, all that other good stuff. So we have all of that. Is the assignment kind of clear to everybody, or does anybody have any more questions on that? I figured, and like I said, if you for some reason can't get it done for Thursday, feel free to just turn it in, when you can, because Dr. Dave said that we do accept late work, so it's not really a problem. Just, I just kind of wanted you guys to get some practice with this because I know it can be a little bit difficult and things like that. So, all right, this is our thing for today. So would anybody, back to what we were doing, would anybody like some more sentence practice, or is everyone kind of okay with that? You are going to do a little bit of this in your homework. But is everybody kind of okay, or would you like some more of this? Or would anybody like some more conjugation practice? The simple conjugations? Or is everybody kind of okay? Everybody's doing all right. Okay. So let's do our plans for next class. And so our plans for next class, I also added it in Spanish, planes para la próxima clase, which it just means plans for next class. So we're gonna do more of a review with our regular conjugations because this stuff's really important. And we're also gonna go over the homework because I think that would be great to do the review together. And we're gonna do go over some simple sentences with our regular conjugations, which we'll probably just do that with the homework when we go over it. And I thought maybe that we would start an introduction to the irregular verbs. Oh. And such as ear, which is on our vocabulary list, which means to go. Or we can do ser, which means to be, and a star, which is to be. They both mean to be, but use them in different contexts, which we'll go over next week. Not next week, next class. So I thought that we could do that. And it's not real hard. You just conjugate them differently. Like they have like their own forms and things like that. So once you get to know them, it'll be, it comes to your mind instantly. So don't worry about that if you're a little bit confused at first. Well, I'm gonna probably assign some homework for that, probably either Thursday or Monday for the next class. And there's another thing called the stem changing verbs, which we'll go over that too. So don't worry about that right now. And that's just kind of like what's coming up in case you guys were wondering. And our next class is on Thursday, which is the 22nd at 11:30. So does anybody have any questions on our lesson plans, the lesson from today, our homework, Anybody want some more conjugation practice, sentence practice, anything? Is everybody okay? Or I'll be happy to help out too, because we do have a couple minutes yet. I actually wanted to see, I'm just gonna click on one here. I want to see what happens when you open this into Google Docs, if it'll let you actually edit it. Oh, I've got a message in the chat. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, and when you put it in a Google Doc, it gets kind of weird. I see that. Okay, never mind. Let's see. So, Ahmad sent me a message saying, how do I answer the questions? It won't let you type. So pretty much, I do realize that because it is a PDF. You can turn it into, you can open it with Google Docs like this. And if it loads here, you can do it as a Google Doc. And I see that, I mean, the top part is kind of weird, but if you want to do like the bottom part, with a Google Doc, you can. Or if it's easier, you could just like create a new Google Doc and just like write out your answers like that. Like here, I'll show you. Let's see here. I'm on my wrong account. And then we'll just go to Docs. And I'll just show you how to do this. So you can just like do like our next verb is. Oh yeah, you could put it in your notes and email me a screenshot. So I know that everybody else can't see these messages, but of course, if you want to put it in your notes and email me a screenshot, feel free. That however you want to get it to me. So you could always do it like this. Caminar, yo, camino, tu caminas. If you just want to like write it out like that, that's fine. I don't really care. I know that PDF, I know sometimes you can edit a PDF, but sometimes you can't. So I mean, however you guys want to do it is completely fine with me. I'm not too picky with that. So, okay. So does anybody have any more questions or anything on what we did today? Does anybody need help? Anything like that? And like I said, if you're really struggling with any of this stuff, please send me an email and we'll work on it together. I'm willing to like work as long as you need to work on this. Like it's not a problem at all. So, because I know this is very different from English. So feel free to send me an email if you ever need any help with anything. Okay, so if everybody's okay, I guess that we can end it here. But does oh, I got another message in the chat. Let's see. Oh, not working here. Okay, so like I said, the assignment is due Thursday at 11:59. So, but if you have to turn it in late, that is okay. I'm also, if you didn't get a chance to join the Google Classroom, I'll send you a personal invitation link probably today or tomorrow. That way you have access to the assignment. And if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to email me. We'll talk about it, anything like that. So, or if it's just a specific question, that's fine too. So I'm gonna stop the share here. And